Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat?
We feel good about what we were able to accomplish over the last 3 days. We felt like we had a lot of quality players that fit what we're looking for, and they filled some of the needs that we had on the team.
That is Dennis Allen. Saints with a successful 3 days. On this Monday after the draft, everyone always pipes up and pumps out their draft grade rankings. I haven't looked at a single one of them. I haven't looked at Kuiper or McShay or any of the guys at NFL Network or CBS or Fox or anybody else, any blogger that puts out his draft grade or her draft grade. Because quite honestly, I don't care what any of them say is the Saints draft grade. Nothing any of them say is going to affect my opinion on how the Saints did over those 3 days. If you go back with me into the Wayback Machine, not that far way back, but whenever the New Orleans Saints signed Derek Carr, it took a lot of the drama out of this draft, didn't it? Because there was no more question of, are the Saints going to try to move up to take Anthony Richardson? We were having those convos. And when they signed Carr, that was off the board. So the only question became, do they stick at 29 or is there someone they really covet they move up to get? And what I said, and I was consistent leading into the draft, and so today after the draft, I'm not going to waver at all. I said if they get a defensive tackle in round one, I'm good with anything else they do. Everything I say is recorded. You can go find it if you want it. Because there were enough needs on this team that if they found value at those positions throughout the draft, I was going to be good with it. They were going to be aggressive, move up. They had 8 draft picks. They weren't going to select 8 players because 8 guys aren't going to make this team. So if they were someone they were bullish about, they wanted to go get them, and they did that by and large, and I love what the Saints did. So let's run through it. Muse, hit me with a little draft recap music, if we could. I knew you were going to go with that little ditty. You like that one, huh? Is that your favorite one?
It's pretty good. It's consistent. It's always there. You just like it.
You do like it a lot. So on Friday, we kind of recapped the selection of Brian Bresee out of Clemson. I love it. The former number 1 overall player in the country, a big 6'5", 300-pound interior blow-up-the-launch-pad defensive lineman who can also rush the passer, but for some injuries would have been a top 10 prospect overall in this draft. I feel like, but for the injuries off the field stuff, you could have been talking about a Jalen Carter-type prospect. I absolutely love the Saints getting Brian Bresee in round 1. If you want my full reaction to that, you can go back to Friday's After Further Review YouTube channel and get that full recap. So going in from Thursday, going into Friday, we knew the Saints had a couple of picks, one in round 2, one in round 3, and they kept both of them and started with this.
With the 40th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Isaiah Foskey, defensive end, Notre Dame.
Isaiah Foskey is Notre Dame's all-time sack leader. He broke the record set by Justin Tuck. He was a consensus All-American. He's 6'5", 265, ran a 4.58 40. Do you realize Isaiah Foskey at 6'5", 265, ran a faster 40 time than Kayshon Boutte? Yes, give me that freak show coming off the edge. Here was Foskey on the Saints.
I met with them during the pro day, doing a lot of film work with them. Met them at the combine, talked with them a bunch, did a whole bunch of Zoom meetings with them. So this is a team I talked to so much, fell in love with them, love the coaches, started talking to them a lot. And just the vibe of the whole team is New Orleans. And this is like the team I wanted to go to. I kept telling everybody, I want to go to this team. This is the team I want to go to.
We love Cam Jordan. He's an all-time great Saint, but he's aging. And on the other end, you let Marcus Davenport walk. Don't know what you're getting with Peyton Turner, Carl Granderson, Tano Passanio. Give me this dude. I'm pumped about getting Foskey at 40. We know they needed a running back. That was another absolute must in this draft, and they pulled the trigger in round 3.
With the 71st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kendre Miller, running back, TCU.
5'11", 220, strong and physical enough to go between the tackles, athletic enough to get outside and be a game breaker, was awesome in that TCU offense, was not a great pass catcher. As a freshman, caught 1 pass, 12 receptions as a sophomore, 16 receptions this past year as a junior. I'm going to tell you the thing that I love most about Kendre Miller. He's 20 years old. With running backs, we talk about it all the time. What's the shelf life? How much tread on the tires? And sometimes you see these backs in college that have 200 carries, 3 consecutive seasons, and they have been beaten up, chewed up, spit out, and sent off to the league already battered and broken. Kendre Miller is 20 years old. He had 54 attempts as a freshman, 83 as a sophomore, and this past year carried the ball 224 times. You want to talk about tread on the tire? It's Kendre Miller. He's really had 1 season where he was a workhorse. He can't even buy a hand grenade in the French Quarter yet legally. And you know what? He's also coming for Alvin Kamara.
You know, Alvin, he's a great receiving back. You know me. I'm just like, you know, like versatile. I'm really, you know, ground and pound out of backfield. So like we got 2 of the same, you know, attributes. So I really feel very confident, you know, what me and him do.
I love it. The Saints have been their best when they've had the Thunder Lightning back combo, and they got it here as well. So you go into day 3 of the draft, and the Saints didn't waste any time. Before day 3 started, the Saints traded up to the very first pick of round 4.
With the 103rd pick of the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Nick Saldiveri as guard.
Guard out of Old Dominion, Nick Saldiveri. Nick, going into this draft, if you had asked me who is Nick Saldiveri, I'd have been like, is that one of my long-lost relatives from the old country? Would have had no idea. But I also don't care. I don't care. We have seen this organization scout the lower levels of football, even on the offensive line, and hit. If you want to talk about Trevor Penning a year ago from Northern Iowa, if you want to go back and look at guys like Jermon Bushrod coming from Towson, if you want to look at if it was Jari Evans from Bloomsburg, you want to talk about Teron Armstead from Pine Bluff, the Saints know what they are looking for in offensive linemen, and if they felt strongly enough about Nick Saldiveri to go get him, I'm good with it. And, by the way, their hunch was correct, because after they took Saldiveri, there was a run on interior linemen. After the Saints took Nick Saldiveri, 6 of the next 19 picks were offensive guards. The run came, and the Saints beat the run and got the guy they wanted. And by the way, here was Nick Saldiveri talking about his versatility.
I'm an offensive lineman at the end of the day. I'm not in one box. I don't play tackle, guard, center. Like, I play it all. And I take pride in that. I take pride in having the ability to do that, because it's not easy. Everybody can't do that. So I take pride in it for sure. I think I have a lot of like strong points in my game, like my feet, my anchor strength, my hands, and versatility is kind of just one focal point that kind of separates me from everybody else.
I love the versatility. Consider this. Saints did not pick up Cesar Ruiz's 5th-year option. This is very likely Andrus Peat's last year in New Orleans. You just drafted a guy that could be the replacement for either one of those guys in 2024, and you got the guy you wanted, but they weren't done in round 4.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have traded the 127th pick to the New Orleans Saints. With the 127th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints have selected Jake Haener, quarterback, Fresno State.
Haener is essentially a Drew Brees clone. He wore number 9 for Drew Brees. He's a sub-6-foot quarterback who put up great statistics, who's a student of the game. All the things that you say when you describe Brees, that's Jake Haener as well. I'm not saying he's going to have a Hall of Fame career, but you got a guy who is now drafted by the team he grew up wanting to play for.
It's so surreal. I can't even put it into words right now. I just got off the phone with Derek and just so excited to learn from him. And just, I mean, I can't even put it into words. How many times does an opportunity like this happen, and you get to learn from an all-time great at the same school you played at, playing in the same NFL team, and I'm just really speechless.
I'm mostly excited because one pick later, Stetson Bennett went to the Rams, and as we had previously talked about, had the Saints drafted Stetson Bennett, I was going to have to rescind my Saints fandom until they cut him after camp, because he's going to get cut. He's not going to make an NFL team. But I am just so glad the Saints validated my feeling on Stetson Bennett and chose Jake Haener instead of Stetson Bennett. So good luck to Jake Haener, whatever may come of his NFL career. Hopefully it's a long, illustrious career in New Orleans. The Saints didn't have a 5th-round pick, but they did get back on the board in round 6.
With the 146th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Jordan Howden, defensive back, Minnesota.
My bad. Howden was a 5th-round pick out of Minnesota, and I'm good with it. He was a 5-year contributor. He was the team captain, made 49 starts, so he was one of the super seniors who took advantage of the COVID year. He could play safety. He could play nickel. He could play dime. Think P.J. Williams, versatile defensive back who could play anywhere in your secondary that you need him. Probably not on the outside unless if you're in a pinch, but got an aging Tyrann Mathieu at safety. You traded away Chauncey Gardner-Johnson last year. P.J. Williams is getting long in the tooth. That mold of guy who can also play special teams for you, and a great leader. The Saints have always valued locker room chemistry, camaraderie. They want team guys that are bought in. Locker room culture matters. You got a guy that was a team captain here, a 5th-year player from the Big Ten up there at Minnesota. I like what they did. The Saints have one more pick that they made, and that was A.T. Perry. However, we do not have the announcement of A.T. Perry being selected. But of all the draft picks, now look, I'm pumped about Brian Bresee and Isaiah Foskey at the top. I love what they did up and down the board. If you said what's the one spot where they got an absolute steal, thief in the freaking night steal, it's A.T. Perry. Listen to A.T. Perry talk about the tweet he made saying the Saints would not regret this decision.
I was expecting to go higher, but there was some minor stuff that got in the way of that. So, but hey, I'm here now. I'm happy that you guys took me, and I hope it make a big impact on the field. So,
I don't know what the minor stuff is. Here's what I know. For some odd reason, watched a lot of Wake Forest, mainly because their offense was really good. They had a quarterback a lot of people were aware of, and they played in a lot of high-scoring games. The Wake Forest game against North Carolina was bonkers. The one they played a few years ago against Army, where it was like 70-57. Wake Forest had a huge offense. And the best receiver on that team the last 2 years was A.T. Perry. Almost 6'4", 200 pounds, ran a 4.47 40, which is good for that size, and had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons at Wake Forest playing in that offense, catching balls from Sam Hartman where he was his favorite target. I don't know how or why A.T. Perry was on the board in round 6. Everybody's draft board looks different. You never know what people find with the medical or interviews or this or that, whatever. All I know is that dude is huge. He can run. He is certainly got the skins on the wall. And the fact that you snagged A.T. Perry in round 6 is amazing to me. And maybe, just maybe, this means that we could finally be done with the Traquan Smith era once and for all. You didn't think I was going to get through talking about a receiver without throwing a barb at Traquan. Did you, Muse? Of course I was going to get me a Traquan barb in there.
Do we have to send him back to the island after this?
Well, I know. I wish we'd have given him a one-way ticket to the island years ago. The Island Misfit Toys. Saints make 7 draft picks. I love what they did in this draft. Are they all going to hit? No. That's not how the draft works. But when you look at what they needed, who they got, the value and their thought process behind the decisions they made, hit. I love what the Saints did with this draft class. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.